professional mode engaged, and welcome to Drew Wagar's 07 Law Tour. Thank you very much for turning up, everybody. Do appreciate your patience with technical shenanigans that often go wrong on my streams. It's just an occupational hazard. Yeah, if you want to join my streams, things do occasionally go wrong. So, but never mind. We are here now. It is working again. Right, let's go. So this is episode 3 of 4. Of the 07 tour. So tonight we are looking at the ancient law. I did see a couple of people that got the episodes upside down. That is probably my fault. I did initially move a few things around. We had to swap the last 2 episodes over and around. I did try and update all the comms channels, but it sounded like I might have missed one, so apologies for that. We've had to swap the last event around for availability of staff, basically. So we'll talk about that one a little bit later on. But tonight's episode is all about the ancient lore of Elite Dangerous. So we're going to start in the Sol system. So if you want to make your way, if you're not already in game, make your way to the Abraham Lincoln space station in the Sol system, which of course is in orbit around the Earth, and that's where we're going to start tonight. Right, with no further ado, let me get into game. So it was the club. It was definitely the club, or it was David Braben himself saying, "Nope, we're not having that." I don't know. Somebody at Frontier went, took me out. Who knows? But anyway, I'm back. I have respawned. I never fly without rebuy, of course. So there we go. Anyway, right. We are back in the system. We're back. Thank you very much again for everybody who is on the chat. There are far too many of you to go through by name as I normally like to do. So apologies for that. But welcome one and welcome more. Welcome if you are a new Elite Dangerous player. Welcome if you're an old Elite Dangerous player. Welcome if you're a veteran or you're just starting out in your own Sidewinder. But whoever you are and whatever you're doing, welcome to my Elite Dangerous 07 tour. The idea here is to do a big final celebration to Elite Dangerous, the original game, Elite Dangerous Horizons, and I suppose Elite Dangerous Beyond as well, because there's a whole bunch of good stuff added in there as well. So right, let me get into the game. I don't remember which button to press. I've been dare I say it, I've been playing a bit of Star Citizen. Now I'm all confused with my keybinds because I don't know where everything is. Right, I need to press a button. I need to press that button. Looking for a game to capture, and yay, there is a game. It's worth capturing. Those are the old, says Sean O'Connor. Yes, apologies for that. Right, let me get myself to the surface. Tonight I am flying my Imperial cutter. Yeah, get me. I'm going to be doing a bit of basking along the way, which is always good fun. As we go on this kind of this tour of stuff. Now, I did have a nice wing set up with Mr. Cyberdime, so I hope he's still there. He's not. Oh well. I'll connect up with. Oh well, I was going to connect up with somebody there. Who haven't I winged up with for? Let's go with Protomaniac. Why not? There we go. So yes, this is me in my Imperial cutter that I've nicknamed the Never-Ending Story, because it took an awfully long time to get this ship, in my opinion, and it was a never-ending story as far as I was concerned. So there we go. So anyway, I am here in the Abraham Lincoln Space Station. Now, we all know about the Earth, of course, because we all live here. I don't need to tell you a great deal about the Earth, I hope, because it's a planet that we are, I suppose, reasonably familiar with. I think that's probably fair enough, isn't it? Being in the fact that most of us, I would assume all of us actually, have grown up on said planet. So there we go. Right, I'm just going to switch off the disabled voice comms, because it does do rather weird things to my audio. So there we go. So if you would like to meet me outside Abraham Lincoln Space Station, we'll see how the instancing works tonight. There will be the usual shenanigans towards the end of the we have got a bit of flying around to do tonight, though, so we need to get a move on. And I'll talk about the next week's episode a little bit later on in the stream. Right, let's see if I can get Commander Cyberdime, who was in my wing, poor fella. back into my wing, just because that seems only fair. Right, there we go. I've sent an invite. Let's see how that goes. Right, and I've got to remember how to fly an Imperial Cutter, so bear with me on this one. So apologies for those of you who have ended up in 46 Iridani. That's actually going to be next week's episode, so apologies for the confusion there. I thought I'd updated all of my sort of feeds and sources and stuff, but clearly I've missed some, so I do apologise for that. 46 Iridani will be the start point for next week. If you should be, I guess you can go about 1,000 light years away, I'm afraid. Depending on how fast a ship you have, you may be able to catch us up. Apologies for that. Right, so let's get ourselves out of here. This is a big, lumbering beast of a ship, this one is. I do have to be a bit careful flying this. Yeah, you have to tell it... around we go. Okay, there we go. I have to say, it is. I mean, I won't mention Star Citizen again, because obviously there's an Elite Dangerous stream, but it is nice playing a game where I've got 60 frames per second again. I'll give it that. There are a lot of ships out here, which is always nice to see. So that's fantastic. Now, the reason I chose Sol, obviously, to start our little exploration of the ancient lore of Elite Dangerous is it's because obviously this is where it's not actually where the lore of Elite starts, but it's kind of obviously where the story of the game begins in terms of the timeline. So I've done you probably found them online, I've done a series of videos on the timeline of Elite Dangerous, so you can go and watch those at your leisure. But you know, obviously the timeline of Elite Dangerous starts here in Sol, so it starts kind of from now and then moves forward. Now there is in the timeline of Elite Dangerous a Third World War, which happens fairly soon, actually. Not to alarm anyone, but it happens fairly soon, and you know, lots and lots of people die, and it turns out that the United States wins the war. Okay, so go America, right? Every other country in the world effectively loses this war. Not quite sure what the geopolitical ramifications of that are, but the US basically is the only organisation, the only country, the only government that survives this this calamity known as the Third World War, and as a result of that, it then ultimately forms the Federation. Okay, which is why we have the Federation. Now, there's lots more detail in there. Go to the lore streams if you want to kind of pick that kind of stuff up. But that's the potted history. That's why we're in Sol. There are a few other bits and pieces that are interesting about Sol. If we go to almost press the other space game button for the system map there, which would be very bad. It's funny how quickly your muscle memory goes. Starting the system map. So a few other things worth looking at. There are lots of tourist beacons, and the tourist beacons in Sol are always worth looking at. Okay, so you know, so that's always interesting. Always go and check those out. What you can see here is that, you know, a fairly familiar solar system. Hopefully most of you know about the solar system. You know, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. I still think Pluto's a planet because I'm old. Okay, I don't get this whole 8-planet solar system that we have. Pluto's a planet as far as I'm concerned. I will die on that hill. But one of the things you will notice, which is a little bit different from now, is that Mars has become terraformed. Quite a lot of story about Mars being terraformed in the Elite Dangerous lore. That's worth checking out as well. So we have 2 habitable planets in the solar system by the time of Elite Dangerous, which is quite cool. You'll also notice a distinct lack of fleet carriers in the solar system. Fleet carriers aren't allowed in to permit lock systems, which is an interesting thing. And we, you know, got lots of other planets that are interesting. The moons of Jupiter, you can land on those. That's quite good fun. Apart from Io, unfortunately, which is probably the most interesting one. There's quite a few moons of Saturn. Titan itself, which is again the interesting moon with the atmosphere. You can't land there, but there is a system up there. You've got Uranus and you've got Neptune. Interesting enough, you can't. I can't remember what does the red symbolise around. I think that's Triton around Neptune. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat will tell me. I'm not quite sure what the red means. You know, somewhere we can't get them out. And there's a whole bunch of dwarf planets that have been added, which is quite cool because that's kind of keeping Elite Dangerous up to date with astronomical stuff, which is always nice. So, but anyway, here we are in the solar system. So this is the birthplace of the Federation, and the Federation stems from the fact that the United States won World War III. So there we go. And actually, in the Elite Dangerous lore is the fact that the UK, Europe, Australia, the Middle East, what was left of Russia, and all the other the states over there, all gone. Okay. The United States took it. There's a McDonald's everywhere on the surface of the Earth in the early years of the 21st century, according to the Elite Dangerous timeline. So that's basically the lore of the game. So there we go. Right. So in order to get this going, so again, thank you for everybody who's bought their ships. I am going to. Someone's probably just sent me a friend request by the look of that. We're going to jump to the Barnard Star system. Now, Barnard Star is obviously in the Elite Dangerous lore. It's also famous in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as having a roundabout. Okay, I've asked all the people who were bringing fleet carriers along on today's tour to go to Barnard Star because they can't go into the solar system. So we're going to jump to Barnard Star, okay, and we're going to just rendezvous with our fleet carriers and say hi, because that's a tradition of these tours, okay, altogether. So set your hyperspace destinations for Barnard Star, which isn't very far away, as you can see. It's just literally over there, and we will head there, and we will rendezvous with our fleet carriers and just say hello. And I will probably choose one at random to visit just because I can. So off we go. Hopefully I should have one of the biggest ships in the instance today, because I've got the cutter. So hopefully I won't have so many problems trying to hyperspace away, because I was having all sorts of problems last week. Simply because of having the smaller ship in the instance. But there we go. Right, it's only 5.95 light years away. Did that cancel itself? Oh, I'm still massed locked from the space station. Alright, there we go. In real life, says Jado, GT12, the UK will win World War III and turn everything into a series of Griggs. What's my jump range on this? It's not too bad, actually. What have I got here? I can't remember how to do this. It's ships, isn't it? There we go. 35 light years, which for a big ship like this, kind of multi-purpose, it's not outrageous. It's not outrageously bad. So there we go. There is a McDonald's everywhere, says Frank Miner already. Yeah. So there we go. So yeah, hopefully, because we jump around a bit and we rendezvous at different locations, there's various different chances to get into the same instance and figure out how it goes. Yeah, this is a big match lucky ship. It was one of my kind of final objectives in the game, really, to get the cutter and just sort of tool about with it. Actually, as a ship, I don't like it very much. I like the way it looks, I have to say, but I don't really like the way it flies. It's just so sluggish and so slow, and it drifts, and it's hard to fly. And, yeah. To be honest, it's exactly like the Douglas Adams quote for, I can't remember what the ship was, but it's looks like a fish, moves like a fish, steers like a cow. It is a good mining ship. Did I just insult Imperial Engineering System? Yes, I did. I don't like having spent a lot of time trying to get this cutter. I don't actually like it, but I'm flying it tonight because it's still the most expensive thing I've ever bought in the game, I think. Right, so let's go and have a look at our wonderful collection of fleet carriers for this evening. Who have we got in Barnard? There are loads of them. This is really cool. Oh God, it's going to take me ages to get through these. Stay on that. Right, I shall make a start. Let's see who's here. So shout outs to the Francis Drake, the Anatalia, the Zuandi, the CS Ark, Pirate's Nest, like that one. Shippy McShipface, that's a British ship. The Meme Mobile, Levos City, Millennium Miracle, oh nice, Pit Stop, McCraig's Honour, Star Delegation, Decemberists, Abaddon's Gate, The Friend's Folly, The Primordial Dreamer, nice. Top 1% of carriers, Content Creator, Gold Gears, the Nerevar, The Tip, CS Marduk, The Intrepid, like that, Sidewinder 2 Beta, the FSS Enterprise, boldly going where many fleet carriers have been before, the RMS Define, Selden's Fate, Alcatraz, Little Mothership, the Church of Nightshady, Apocalypse Meow, the Intrepid, the Pegasus, the Psyheads Industries, selling my soul for an RTX 3090. I hear you, my friend. Yeah. Albatross. Dries FC. Something presumably not allowed in the game. Audacious Fontana, that's quite nice. Free Range Humans. Sector 7 Task Force. The Dady Salinger. The Moontide Daedalus. Maylor. The Valorious Intent. The Repair Arm Fuel Bombs. The Tongue of Flame. The Illustrious. The Biggest Zombie Ski. J. Geiss. Dragon Master, I like that. Voyager NCC 746. Is that the actual NCC number? Someone's going to tell me that is. This game is dead. That's not mine, by the way. HMS Volcanic. Nevin the Great. A Vengeance. The Nostromo, yay! Watchtower. The Duck Pond. The Gravel Pit. Imperial Coffee House. We have some really, really good names. The Tanny-Lawn, yay! Familiar one. The HDS Armageddon. Beer and Bullets. Summer Girl. Schleichweg Holston. The Vulture Savage Company. Parmac QEH. Kaguga Best Girl. Storm's Nest. Dangerous Horizons. The Singularity. The NCC 1701, yay! Gets a cheer for me. The Calypso. Drunken Sailor. Wolf's Den. Spaceball 1. We Break for Nobody. Neon Whiskey, that sounds fun. Thorfinn Refuel and Guns. And the Forest Door. Then we've got over here, we've got the Quantico Phenomeno. The Heidenberg. Don't get on that one, okay. The Sunshine. Valhalla. The Douvre. Shippy McShipface again. Another one. SS Larry Walters. The Odyssey. Good name for a ship. The Revenant. Valhalla Tower. Ships and Salsa. Mount Olympus. Canis Lupus. Smed. Another unpronounceable name. Le Course Air. And the Drop Bear. Phantom. Something else. Fleet Carrier. A very imaginative name. The Imperial March. Bam, 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 bam. The Probes of Uranus. I'm just reading what it says on the screen. Bandalay. The Infinite Airway. The Doghouse. The Royal Scam. The Machine Shop. The F-Shack. A Random Carrier. Point Barrow. The Gamer Express. HMS Icarus. And the DI and the Star Hunter. So anyway, that's brilliant. Thank you everybody for bringing a fleet carrier if you brought a fleet carrier. Where is actually? I think that one. Where is the I sell my soul for a? There we are. That one. I think it's only reasonable we should go there. Selling my soul for an RTX 3090. Let's quickly rendezvous there, my friends. Just because that one appeals to me. If I can actually, how do I? Not sure I can get to it. There we go. Right. let's go there just because. And we'll have a quick instancing fest there, so and then we'll crack on because we've got lots of places to go. So again, thank you very much to all fleet carrier owners for bringing your fleet carriers. Their names always make me chuckle. They are very, very good indeed. While I'm en route there, just a little bit about the lore of this part of the world. So the immediate star systems around. So I'm still chuckling over those names. Selling more soul for an RTX 3090. I don't know whose fleet carrier this is, but it's just made me laugh. So all the star systems around Sol in this area were colonised in the early days of space exploration in the Elite Dangerous Universe in the first few hundred years. There were all sorts of interesting things. There was actually almost straight away, believe it or not, wars going on. You would not be surprised with humanity spreading out to the nearby stars, and despite the fact that America won the war, there wasn't anybody else to fight. By the time we colonised places, everyone had split off again and decided to become their own faction, and then started having wars with each other again. So humanity took its own problems back out to the stars. The early days before the Federation itself was kind of founded were once again full of war and conflict. So the Elite Universe is very much dystopic. Every time you've got an opportunity for something to go right, the law sort of states it all went wrong again. So, but eventually the Federation was formed, and there's been relative peace in the Federation. certainly in the core parts of the Federation for many, many years. You know, the founding members of the Federation, really close to Sol, is a fairly compact, solid group in terms of its politics, and as a result, it is held together quite well. However, fairly quickly, to be honest, there was a splinter faction that went, if you like, south to through star systems to try and get away from what they consider to be the overbearing nature of the Federation. Very corporate focused, very capitalist, make your money and damn everybody else kind of thing. There was a lady called, I don't want to do the pad loitering, a lady called Miss Duval, let's call her, who basically set off through space, heading down towards the Achenar system, as it turns out, who was wanting to found a new republic based on principles of freedom and self-determination and all sorts of good things. So she set off, ended up in the Achenar system, just about to get going when her brother murdered her, another Duval, and that was the end of that. Okay, so he founded the first galactic empire, which we now know to be the Empire. Okay, so the Empire was founded in much the same way as the Federation in some ways, in murder, atrocities, war and destruction. So if you're a member of the Federation, you're a member of a nasty, capitalist, overbearing society. If you're a member of the Empire, you're a member of a nasty, overbearing, murderous society who likes slavery. So congratulations, everyone. So flippancy aside, there's some good lore in the background here. So if you want to research into the background of the Federation and the Empire, there is some stuff you can go and read. Go and find... he says, Decaron, the Feds did far worse things. I think you're probably right, actually, Decaron. But the Empire did also exterminate some sentient races on its terraforming planets. They found some sentient life forms on some of the moons in the Achenar system and went, you're going to terraform it anyway. And kill them all off. So nice in the Federation. So there we go. Here's my delightful ship. Why is the it's because I'm not going to the right mode. There we go. My amazing Imperial cutter, which is a lovely ship to look at, but not a particularly good ship to fly. And here we are next to I would sell my soul for the RTX 3090. So again, thank you everybody who's turned up. Nice couple of crates and Cobras and some other ships about in there as well. So that's all kind of good stuff. But we have places to go and things to do. Okay, so we need to leave the ancient history of the Federation and the Empire behind us and head out into space to catch up on a bit of the story which involves pre-hyperspace journeys. So back into the ships we go. Head, my friends, to I'm not sure how you pronounce this, the Aliornus system. I'm going to type it in the chat. So you're looking for this. If I've got that right, let me just double check. Yes, I'll put it in the chat. That's where we're heading, the Aliornus system. So let's get on our way over there. It's not too far away, and it's sort of straight down actually. And the reasons for us going there will be, it's 54 light years away, not too bad. That's where we're going to be heading next. So charge your hyperspace drives, head for that particular location, and we will pick up the story when we get there. Let's just go to a full boost. There we go. It's actually a reasonably quick ship, isn't it? 400 and something meters per second. Alan, I don't know how you do that. So obviously we're in the year 3307, commanders, and it will soon be 3308, of course. But and we're used to hyperspace, and we're used to easy frameshift drive travel amongst the stars. We can pop across the bubble in mere minutes, really, particularly in some of the faster ships. Half an hour at best, you can be across the entire bubble, which was for many centuries the limit of explored space and Elite Dangerous in the timeline. And hyperspace itself is a fascinating piece of lore as well. So again, I've done some lore videos on hyperspace. You can go and check those out at your leisure. There's various different iterations of hyperspace. Oh, we popped down in front of a white dwarf star. Very nice. Just be careful where you're flying. Any loss or damage to your ship as the course of this lore tour is entirely coincidental and will not be covered by the management, just so you know. There's the Aliornus system. Right, ahead we go. but and there's various iterations of hyperspace technologies. I called them hyperspace versions Type 0, Type 1, Type 2, and there's various variations of the Type 2 hyperspace drive. And then the Elite Dangerous version that we have now, the FSD based system, is hyperspace Type 3. Now I kind of worked that out myself for my own convenience, and then it got canonized into law in Galnet at one point, which was a little bit of an eye-raising surprise for me, because I hadn't written it specifically for it to be incorporated into law. I just written it as my own piece of work. But it's kind of law itself. So I've made a contribution to the law. I mean, that's quite a fun thing, isn't it? But lots of stuff to take over. But before hyperspace technology, there was, and I'm hoping it shows up on my scan. It may not. Where is it? I was hoping it would show up. There is supposed to be a generation ship in this system. Where is it? I can't remember which planet it's around. Does anybody remember? I'm going to have to go and look it up. Let's go and find it. Which system is it around? Use the FS. I should. Yeah, I've forgotten how to use the scanner. Switch mode. There we go. It's 30k light seconds out. It is okay. There we go. I should scan it. There it is. Generation ship Lacon. That's the one we need to head for. Okay. So meet me at the generation ship Lacon or Lacon. Not quite sure how you pronounce that, but we'll rendezvous out there. Now, generation ships. Okay, now there are quite a few of these out there in the darkness of Elite Dangerous. Now, these are a nice little bit of original lore from the original game. These sort of things I give Frontier absolutely full marks for putting into Elite Dangerous, because they're part of the old lore, the ancient lore, as I've kind of titled this stream. So before hyperspace was invented, and hyperspace was invented fairly quickly in the Elite Dangerous timeline, actually, surprisingly enough. But before hyperspace was invented, we colonized, or we attempted to colonize, the nearby systems around Sol using generation ships. So those of you who don't, I mean, most of you will, but those of you who don't know what a generation ship is, it's basically a spaceship that doesn't have a hyperspace drive. Okay, it travels through normal space, taking an awfully long time to get anywhere. And as a result of that, what that means is that you have to take everything for the voyage with you, all your food, all your water, and you have to make your ship able to last for hundreds and hundreds of years in order to get to its destination, which means you have to have children on board. You have to have you have to have a spaceship that's capable of preserving an environment to get to get people that far. And the people who embark on the voyage never see the destination, and the people who are born in the middle of the voyage never know what the start condition was like or what the destination is going to be. And the people at the end of the voyage, all they have from their setting out is your mission is to get to this planet, and so, well, what if we didn't want that mission? But they don't have the choice because they're the descendants of the people who started out on this voyage. So it would be a fascinating psychological experiment, if nothing else, to see. Let me switch my wing beacon on. Yes, I always forget to do that. There we go, wing beacon on. Just whether this sort of thing would actually be possible with human psychology, but it would be a kind of mad sort of thing. Anyway, so whack your frame shift drives up to maximum power so we can kind of get over there. There are quite a few of these generation ships now. In the original lore of Elite, there were supposed to be tens of thousands of these things. It's that's kind of an implausibly large number. These things are big, okay? they're massive spaceships, and it seems a little bit odd that quite so many of them were launched, and that they were made so large, because the resources of the war-torn Earth and so on and so forth before the invention of hyperspace, you'd have thought would have been quite limited, and there wouldn't have been a great deal of industrial activity in order to create generation ships. But anyway, these ships did go out there in the lore, and they're not all that far from Sol. You may be thinking, well, why are they so close to Sol when we found them? Because, but this is as far as they could get. Okay, they don't have any hyperspace drives. They've travelled this distance by sublight speed. Okay. which is a bit insane. So, and there are snippets of lore and snippets of stories and things. So every generation ship has a story associated with them. An awful lot of those were written by Michael Brooks, so they're all dark. Okay, you can always tell the Michael Brooks stories because usually the occupants of the generation ships come to some sort of sticky end. There aren't very many optimistic stories of the generation ships, but it's a nice touch because the generation ships were mentioned in the original Elite novel, and as a result, they are still they're still here in Elite Dangerous, which is a lovely touch to make sure that the lore of the game stretches across decades. So anyway, we're coming in now, and hopefully we'll be able to rendezvous and have a quick look around a generation ship. So this is all pre-hyperspace technology. Now, hyperspace technology was the preserve, unsurprised. I'm going to do a loop of shame on my stream again. There are, you're quite right, Army Squirrel, a few of them did have happy endings. How sluggish this ship is at turning around. That's dreadful, this cutter, it really is. It is definitely the worst ship I own, but I had to take it out one last time. It's like steering a cow. It really is. Look how slow it is. Turning in super cruise. So there are a few. Right, there we go. You insult the Empire, says Dickeron. I like the Clipper, and I particularly like the Courier, but the Cutter, I mean, it's just a lovely looking thing, but nope. It is so sluggish. So there we go. So yes, apologies. I am in Horizons. We're playing this in Horizons because I know how it works, basically. And I know it works, if that also makes sense, on my PC. So I don't have to diagnose any bugs I'm not familiar with. So generation ships were sent out in their thousands, apparently, according to Elite lore, to basically seek out new worlds and conquer them and terraform them and all sorts of stuff. And what's nice is that they were put into Elite Dangerous for players to discover, as one of the updates to the game, which is really nice. So these are big ancient ships, which are, some of them are still operational, some of them aren't. This one, I believe, was the first one that players discovered, and as you can see, it is a dark drifting hulk of a ship. There are a few lights, but very, very few that are kind of working, and the ship looks to be in some sort of distress. So it's quite good. I haven't got time to go and listen to all the audio logs around this one, but if you come back these ways, it's worth listening to the audio logs because some of them are very, very well produced. A lot of these stories were written by Michael Brooks back in probably 5-6 years ago now, and he has a very dark sci-fi vibe to everything he writes. Now that comes across, but it's very, very good. Don't know if there we go. I'll switch my lights on. I don't think I'm close enough. So these are vast ships, traveling, still traveling through space. Actually, obviously we can catch them up. Now the ironic thing is that hyperspace was the preserve of very large, big governments, very, very expensive technology back in the history of Elite Dangerous, and it took a long time for it to become accessible to kind of Joe public and use. I could use the night vision. You're quite right. There we go. So there you go. That gives you a view of what the ship looks like. It's a massive, with pseudo gravity provided by rotating things, as you would expect on this era of technology. A vast machine. There we go. Floating in space. So it looks all quite sinister. It gives me a little bit of the Black Hole vibe. Remember the Disney film, The Black Hole, the abandoned ship. And this is how space exploration was done before the invention of hyperspace drive. But the hyperspace drive was eventually miniaturized to a point whereby it was possible to put it on smaller and smaller ships. And then the sort of golden age, if you like, of exploration began, when we were able to travel out in space in much smaller vessels. And now, it's a matter of a few minutes to hyperspace jump to these kind of places and go and check out these sort of ships. But for the occupants, they travelled the hard way over many hundreds of years. So, but do check out the logs; they're definitely worth checking out if you like your lore and your storytelling. These are very cool places to visit. So make sure you do and go and do that. Very cool indeed. Right, we must proceed onwards. Time is against us, my friends, as it always is on these streams. So we are now going to go to HIP. Again, more jumping. HRP 19206. That's where we're going next. So hyperspace drives engaged. Let's get up to speed. HIP 19206. Again, a little bit of a run. 102 light years in this case. That's probably about 3 jumps from me. And those of you who know this star system will know why we're going there. Evil laughs. I am in Horizons, Commander Terrafirm. Always in Horizons, yeah. So off we go. So follow on with me, my friends. Follow on as we venture further into space. Now, we started having hyperspace technology, and then in the years as we approached the turn of the millennium, the year 3000, a little bit before that actually, we started encountering strange ships in space. And the first encounters with these strange vessels were disturbing. Very few stories of encounters with these vessels came back. And as a result, rumours began to abound that there was in fact something out there. Because one thing that had been surprising in the Dangerous Universe up until that point was, where are all the alien life forms? Are we the only sapient intelligence in the universe? We found no evidence that there was anything else out there that was capable of spaceflight. Until ships began to disappear. And back in those days, there were other political powers in force, particularly one called Galcop, the Galactic Cooperative, which sadly no longer exists. It's long gone by the days of Elite Dangerous. And ships from different navies, the emerging Federation, the emerging Empire. This is long before the Alliance even became into existence. Sent navies into these areas to kind of to see what was going on, and encountered strange octagonal vessels. Swift, deadly, powerful, and clearly not human. Where all the aliens ignores all life forms eradicated in terraforming. Yes, we do. You kind of gloss over those. The Empire, Techeron won't like me talking about all the bad things that the Empire did. So yes, there are limited numbers of sentient beings in the Elite Dangerous Universe, but not very many, and only one that is current today in the universe of Elite Dangerous, which of course is the Thargoids. You all know what I'm talking about, of course. Now the Thargoids are a piece of lore from the original game back in 1984. The lore of the Thargoids spans generations, okay? They are an interesting alien race, okay? An interesting alien race. They are kind of insectoid in appearance. We're not quite sure. They may be more kind of crustacean type appearance. They have a different biochemistry to us. So they are what's called an ammonia-based life form. It's not quite true that that's not the best way to describe them. Actually, their metabolism uses ammonia, would be fair. They're still a carbon-based life form in the sense of that we are, but whereas we metabolize oxygen and carbon, they metabolize ammonia instead of oxygen. So the sort of places that we all like to exist as humans are no use to the Thargoids and vice versa. They're much more used and acclimatized to different temperatures as well, whereas we like things to be around, we can survive between maybe minus 20 Celsius to maybe plus 40 reasonably happily. A Thargoid would find that very, very intolerable and way too hot. The Thargoids are much happier at sort of minus 100 Celsius. So their physiology and their behaviour is very, very different to ours. And when we've encountered them, we've discovered that their ships are significantly more flexible, not necessarily more advanced, but certainly significantly more flexible than ours. They are quite an interesting a race of things. Now I just need to find out where we're going because I can't remember again. There is interesting enough, there's a ship here as well. Let me see if I can just locate it again. Right, so it's planet B1C that we need to go to. Planet B1C. Let's have a look at the system map. Oh, why is it not showing up? Did I fire the D-scanner? That's interesting. Orbital plane established bodies only one. What's happening there? Oh, I typed the number in wrong. No, I typed the number in wrong. Oops. It's 19026. Wrong system, there we go. It is. Oops. I'm a very qualified law guide, as you can tell. Apologies, I hope we're not too far off course. HIP 19026. How far away is it? It better not be too far. That's a long way off. I hope I didn't go in the wrong direction. Anyway, it's kind of in the right way. We need to get how much time am I doing? Can we get a new tour guide? It is quite a long way. Let me just check the other destinations I've got because I want to make sure because we need to be able to get back as well. The other one I've got, let me just see where we're close to in case we need to do something out of sequence here. Sorry about this. This is let me just type in some of the other ones I've got to get to. D11102. So that one's over there. That one's too far as well. Okay. Let's talk about it in a different place then. We'll talk about it from here. Let's go back to this system there. Oh. System map. No, not the system map. Galaxy map. Less haste, more speed. Let's go over here for a moment. We'll talk about it from here because we can pick up the lore from these sort of things. Let's go to the Hermitage system. Apologies for that. This tour is in the top 1% of all tours. Let's go to the Hermitage system and we'll pick up the lore from there. There we go. That's where we're going to go. Let's head that direction. So Thargoids. Okay, so Thargoids. They are kind of an insectoidy race. Okay. Yeah, I should have used my bookmarks. That's a rookie error. I like typing in the names though, so I've been let down by my own typos today. So Thargoids. Okay, so insectoid race. Now it turns out, based on other things that we've discovered, that they are they've been in space a very, very, very long time indeed. We tend to think of it, Elite Dangerous is the year 3307. We have been in space, since I suppose 1962, maybe is that? So we've been in space 1,300 years. Okay, that sounds pretty, pretty impressive, right? But it is not very much when you compare it to the Thargoids. The Thargoids, from what we've discovered over the years, have been in space for millions of years, literally millions of years. Now you may be asking, so how can they have been in space for millions of years and still be the way they are? Haven't they haven't they evolved, and so on and so forth. Now, this is this is quite a good kind of alien aspect to the Thargoids. They don't have the same evolutionary pressures as we do. They don't come from the same kind of evolutionary environment we do. Somewhere out there is a mythical Thargoid home world, but we don't know where it is. It's probably not all that far away, but we've never found it. My personal theory is that it's probably in the Col 70 sector somewhere, which elite veterans will know is an area of space which is permit locked and has been for quite some time. And their ships are capable of things that are very, very interesting. So if you've ever been interdicted, or hyperdicted, should I say, by a Thargoid, you'll have noticed that they... there's a couple of things that are particularly of note about the Thargoids. One is that they don't appear to use supercruise at all. Okay, you will never get interdicted by a Thargoid. Okay, you will only get hyperdicted. Okay, in the original Law of Elite, it states that Thargoid ships of the era, which is the year 3125, so 200 years ago, were able to hover inside the hyperspace jump tunnels that we use. Witch space is the name that it's called in the law, and hyperspace ships, Thargoid vessels were able to basically hover inside those tunnels and grab ships that were on their way through. And that's kind of what we see with hyperdiction, is that you're travelling through the hyperspace tunnels you can see here, and something yanks you out, and then there's a Thargoid pouncing around there, waiting to immobilise you. And some theorists have basically said that the Thargoids actually live in witch space. They seem to have an affinity with all things hyperspace. So first off, you will never see them in supercruise, at least not yet. They don't seem to use supercruise at all, and the reason for that is probably tied to the next interesting observation about Thargoids, is that they appear to have a very, very fine-grained control of their hyperspace travel. Okay, so whereas we can hyperspace quite happily between stars, but we require the mass of the star at the other end to effectively allow our hyperspace systems to lock on and do the hyperspace transit, which means we can only hyperspace to the star. We can't choose our outcoming destination. Compare and contrast that actually with the fleet carriers, however, which can do a different type of hyperspace. Now, the fleet carriers and the capital ships in Elite Dangerous do have a different type of hyperspace technology to the general purpose ships, like the one that we fly around generally day to day. So there's, again, see the hyperspace law stuff for that. So there are variations in hyperspace technology. However, the Thargoids appear to use something else. They appear to be able to hyperspace in and out to specific points in space. So if they want to come out near a planet, they can just hyperspace directly there. So they don't need frameshift drive, they don't need supercruise in order to move around. So they can effectively jump in, and that's basically it. Oh, I'm almost out of fuel. I haven't been watching fuel gauge either. I'm not doing very well here, am I? And this is a problem because I've now found myself in a red dwarf system. Oops, well, we'll figure that out when we get there. Right, we are here in the Hermitage system. We need to go to Hermitage 4A, I think it is. It's no, is that a brown dwarf, isn't it? I think so. I don't think that's actually very used to me. So that may be a problem. Has anybody got a... I might have to call the fuel rats on my stream. I wasn't watching the fuel gauge. Somebody may have some fuel in, but we'll find out. Let's go to 4A. So that must be this one here. And let's head... Oh, there are some fleet carriers I can probably refuel at, so maybe I can just go there. It's 4A we want, though. So maybe I'll just take a little... I don't know if any of these... Maybe I should just jump to a fleet carrier. I can't actually select that one. That's odd. What's the one on the end there? The Wasp Nest. or the Aurora. So maybe I'll just go there. What I'll do is I'll go refuel quickly. Yeah, hopefully they self the fuel. But go to 4A. That's where we're heading for to pick up this part of the story. Let me just go and get some fuel. That'll teach me for not watching the HUD, won't it? I'm so used to my exploration ships filling up with fuel really quickly that I forget how much fuel this thing uses. There are some carriers, so if I get stuck, we'll work out that. Have I had time to read your Discord messages? I haven't got time to read Discord messages in the middle of streaming, I'm afraid. No. So let me get over here and get some fuel. There are fleet carriers, yes, indeed. So my incompetence knows no bound. But fortunately, there are mechanisms in the game to allow me to be saved. So Thargoids. I can't even read the map. Where are we going? Oh, I'm the tour guide, am I? Excellent. So the Thargoids are a most peculiar race. They appear to have technology that's way in advance of it. But the supposition though is that Thargoid advancement has stalled. Okay, so unlike us, where we iterate our ship designs over and over again and we make things faster, and you'll notice the power creep on our maximum jump range over the years if you've been playing Elite Dangerous. When we first started out, having a ship that could do 25 or 30 light years was pretty impressive. And then that went up to things like 40, 50, 60 light years. And now I think people can reliably get Anacondas to jump 80, 90 light years. Okay, so our technology is always improving. Okay. That's a very human thing to do. Now the Thargoids aren't like that. Their technology appears to be quite static. So whatever they have is what they've got, and they don't even. It's almost as if they don't understand the progress of technology. They've never needed to do it. Everything that they have is good enough to do whatever they require of it, and they've not come across a civilization like ours where there's this constant need to improve things and always making things better and better and better. So it's quite possible right now that Thargoid technology is and remains superior to ours, but it's quite likely that we will, if we survive, equalize Thargoid technology in the future. And clearly the Thargoids have abilities which we would like to have. So within the scope of the law, there must be the option to at some point there will probably be community goals and bits of Galnet and stuff on it to allow you to allow us to reverse engineer even more Thargoid technology. Now there's been lots and lots of rumours, some of them substantiated, some of them not, that the Alliance actually was able to reverse engineer all sorts of bits and pieces of Thargoid tech, and that things like the ECM system and things like some of the components of our hyperspace drives and the use of meta-alloys and things like that is reverse engineered Thargoid technology. And the Alliance, obviously the new kid on the block in terms of the superpowers. Right, let's see if this does allow us to dock. It does. That's good. Right, pad 5. Where is pad 5? Is it up there somewhere? Let's see if I can just land. The Alliance is the new kid on the block in terms of the superpowers, but it also has had some interestingly shady dealings. Okay, it was born out of controversy between the fighting elements of the Empire and the Federation. A whole bunch of worlds got fed up with the Feds and the Empire. Basically. Oh, I'm backwards. Lovely. Let's just roll over because why not? There we go. It's a little bit better at that then, to be honest. Where's the pad? Oh, it wasn't too bad. Right, let me just concentrate while I'm landing. No, it says strength of the Alliance is perfect. Ah, well. Why has my ship failed to... There we go. It was actually on the ground. Yes. I'm just trying to land. Pardon me, I don't like this ship for landing. It's too big. There we go. All right, let's hope they've got some fuel down here. Oh, I overshot that edge thing. Back. There we go. Yay! Refuel. Fantastic. Excellent. Right, then we can launch again. Brilliant. Right, I've got my fuel. Right, so head to 4A, my friends. Let's get out of here. At least the refueling doesn't take very long, eh? We want to go to 4A. So there we go. Now let's head down there to Hermitage 4A. Getting on the carriage. We're on a mission from Randomius. Yeah. No, the alliance is perfect. So the alliance is born out of hostility between the Empire and the Federation, right? Basically, the worlds of the alliance, before they became the alliance, got fed up with being a battleground between the two main superpowers, and then formed their own alliance to effectively say, look, we're going to form enough of a military power that you won't be able to come in here, and hence the alliance is born. Now, the alliance in the lore has always had a technological advantage over the other powers. They've had, they're smaller, they're less powerful, so they've had to punch clever, as they say, punch above their weight, and that means that their technology is that little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more advanced than the Federation and the Empire, and the rumours are that they've reverse engineered some of this from Thargoids. So higher technology, less I suppose military industrial capability, because they're a smaller environment. I've got a problem with my chair today. It seems to be it's sinking. I think the thingamajig in it is going. I've got a problem with my pilot's chair. Right, so let's get down to Planet 4A. Look at the super cruise. Obviously been here before, so let's get the combat mode activated. Now we need to scan the surface for some odd stuff. Right, so down here should be, if I drop out of hyperspace here, too fast, wait a minute. Let's just throttle down. Where is the surface thing? There's geological signals showing up. What I'm looking for is, does it show up on the scanner? There's a lot of them down there actually. Comet Neowise. Oh, that's the thing. So we're looking for German Coast Guard. My chair is sinking. It is Hollis Gateway. No, I'm looking for the INRA base. Is that Hollis Gateway? It is. What's it called? Trying to remember what it is called. Yeah, Hollis Gateway. It is Hollis Gateway. That's where we need to go to. So head down to Hollis Gateway and we'll pick up the story down there. There's a lot of them, aren't there? There we go, 1.7 million. So those of you who are about, it may be on the wrong side of the planet actually now. That's what usually happens to me. Yes. Hollis Gateway, that's it, Super Gold Knight, that's where we're heading. And then we'll drop down onto the surface. So yeah, the Alliance is, its territory is smaller than the Empire and the Federation. It's a smaller superpower. It's not as powerful overall, but it's big enough and just strong enough to effectively resist the Federation and the Empire quite effectively. So where are we? Have we got the daytime side of the planet now? Let's rotate around. That's looking better. There we go. So Hollis Gateway. There we go. I can see a few people heading that direction. So head down to the surface, my friends. Hopefully, again, you brought an SRV. I hope I've got an SRV on board. I usually do. Maybe I don't. We'll just land and have a look. It doesn't really matter. I keep swapping ships and forgetting what's on each ship. let's get down to the surface and we'll see what I'm talking about. Because down here is again the first ever discovered INRA base. Okay, now INRA is a very, very, at least historically, shady organisation. So long before Salvation and all that sort of stuff that's going on at the moment, and long before Aegis, or Aegis, depending on how you pronounce it, long before all that, there was INRA. Okay, now INRA is an abbreviation for the Intergalactic Naval Reserve Arm, and these were the people. Oh, can't see anything through the the glare of the FSD. Aegis, Super Cruise formation. Yeah, it does look very pretty, doesn't it? I'm coming in a bit steep here, which is a bit annoying. I'll see if I can glide in. I can't go to that red zone, or the glide will fail, won't it? So Intergalactic Naval Reserve Arm. So yeah, intergalactic. That's an interesting one, isn't it? It's like intergalactic, really. What does that mean? They're coming in. Dropping from orbital cruise. I hope I can cruise this in. I'll come in at a really crappy, stupid angle, really, but. Glide complete. There we go. It doesn't take long. Let's see if I can get. There we go. It's not too far away. Came on reasonably close. I've got a feeling I didn't put an SRV in this ship. Have I not got an SRV? I haven't, have I? Duh. Never mind. There we go. We can see it. Now these are abandoned workings. Okay. Of INRA, and this was, I believe, again the first one of these discovered. Now INRA was a shady organisation that attempted to analyse and probe into the Thargoid secrets. Okay, and as a result, they were funded by both the Federation and the Empire clandestinely, and all this sort of stuff came out much later on. It was all top secret, all very, very hush hush, and these INRA people were basically conducting all sorts of weird and wacky experiments on captured Thargoids. So any Thargoid ships that were found downed, or any Thargoid specimens, were sent to INRA, and in the days long before Elite Dangerous, they were analysed and broken apart, and poked and prodded and all sorts of stuff. And INRA came up with all sorts of different technologies and things and information based on the Thargoids. And the reason INRA was founded way back in the lore of Elite Dangerous is because we, humanity, being the kind of warlike people that we are, had decided to start a war with the Thargoids. Okay. It's the way the lore describes it is that one of our commanders somewhere out there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to land the ship here or not. The problem with the ship is there's a space. I can maybe sit down. Let's go up a little bit, left a bit, right a bit. There we go. So let's level it out. There we go. It's actually looking reasonable. Is it going to do that thing where it says nope right at the last minute? Oh, I'm down. There we go. I've actually managed to land. Awesome. There we go. So this is an INRA base. Okay. There we go. So we're on the surface, and we were having a war with the Thargoids, and surprisingly enough, we were losing. Okay, because we had underestimated Thargoid technology at the time, and the Thargoids were basically handing us our asses every time we engaged them. Victories. It basically says in the lore, very tantalising phrase: victories against the invaders were few. And they call them the invaders when actually we had kind of pushed out into space and encountered the Thargoids. We were expanding our territory and the Thargoids were already there, so technically we were the invaders. And when we first encountered the Thargoids in the military perspective, we opened fire on them first. Okay, humans attacked the Thargoids, so the whole idea of the alien menace, okay, nope. Nope, not in the Elite Dangerous universe. Okay, we invaded their space and opened fire on them first. Unsurprisingly, they started firing back with ships that were more maneuverable, more powerful, and able to hyperspace jump out as and when they wanted to. Okay, so they were very, very quickly hammering us quite badly. So INRA, this shady organisation, was constructed in the full knowledge that if we didn't find a way to stop the Thargoids from attacking us, then there was a real risk that actually humanity would be wiped out, because the Thargoids were encroaching towards the homeworlds of the Empire and Federation at a fairly rapid rate. Okay, I mean, we couldn't stop them. We didn't have, the ships that we had weren't good enough. And if you play the original Elite game back in 1984, the Thargoids were kind of just an extra, super duperly heavy alien ship to kind of give you something to shoot at when you've got a fully maxed out ship. But the story was that the Galactic Navy was engaged in the Thargoids in deep space, and what we were seeing in the game was just a few little scout ships that had made it past the main vanguards, and the big war zones were somewhere else. And as a result, we were losing. Okay, the humanity was in danger of actually losing, and the Thargoids were coming to get us. So INRA was constructed to research into any and all ways to stop the Thargoids from destroying humanity. And as a result of that, they discovered that Thargoid biology was ammonia based. They discovered that Thargoid ships and Thargoid technology was also organic. Okay, and as a result, they managed to devise a virus called the mycoid virus, which would attack Thargoid flesh, if you like, at a cellular level and destroy it. So they had a bioweapon. They managed to create a bioweapon that was effective against the Thargoids. And then the only question is what are we going to do with it? Okay, how are we going to deploy this weapon, and how and when it's going to be? And they turned to a very famous commander in the Elite Dangerous canon, a commander John Jameson. And we're going to talk about him in a moment. So in kind of ways, we kind of invented space COVID, and then deliberately inflicted it on the Thargoids. So here's humanity faced with a threat that they've created, an overwhelming force of aliens who are coming in to destroy them. We create a bioweapon ready to deploy against the Thargoids. It's a last desperate stand of humanity against the alien menace that we've annoyed, and they're coming to get us. The mycoid virus works. We package it into some missiles. There is a Thargoid mothership on the way towards us, and what are we going to do? We're going to attack it. Okay, but as in all good sort of space opera type things, plausible deniability, the Federation and the Empire does not want to get caught holding this particular can. Okay, so we're going to give it somebody else to do. Who is that person? Well, we'll go and find out about that in a moment. So again, if you're new to this kind of bits of the lore and stuff, go and have a look around these bases. Okay, they're definitely worth looking around. There's lots of little story snippets and all sorts of bits and pieces to find. I love the way everyone's flashing their. There we go. I'm going to flash my lights at the SRVs all lighting up down there. That's very cool. There's lots to discover in these little bases, lots of snippets of lore and all sorts of bits and pieces. So go and check them out. They're really, really good fun. So there we go. Right. So we need to take off. We need to move on with the tour because we've got another place to go, which is very cool in the lore. And then we've obviously got to organise our mass hyperspace jump as well. So let us get off the ground and we will head to the next place. So back up into space, my friends, back up into space. So we've now got a mycoid virus, a deadly toxin, to deploy against the Thargoids. We need to find some poor guy to get us to deploy it. Right, so we are now going to head to, and I'll type it in the chat once more. Where is it? There we go. We are going to go to HIP 12009. All the famous names in the planet names. They're not very imaginative names the astronomers give these places. That's what we've got to go to. Head to your galaxy map HIP 12. Why does it do that sometimes? That's really annoying. It just jumps out of the galaxy map. That's a bug where I'm hitting some key. 120099. There we go. Okay, this is a little bit of a way out, so we need to mosey on out there. But it is worth going. I'm going to try and make sure I stay fueled in my ship on the way. So head out to. Yeah, let me just double check that I've got the right number. I need to go to the Jameson crash site. For those of you who know, I'm just going to double check. I have typed that in. Jameson crash site. It is 12099. Did I type that in? Yeah, 12099. It is. Okay, 12099 is where we're going. Okay. Let's head out there. How many jumps is it for me? It is 8. It's a little bit of a way, so we've got a little bit of a transit. Some of you with faster ships will be able to get. It's definitely double 9s. Okay, it's not got an extra O in it. No, it's definitely 9. Okay, there we go. That's where we're heading. Bruce Mars got it right. Jameson crash site HIP 120991B. That's where we're going. And this is probably the most poignant piece of lore, I think, possibly apart from the generation ships. They're very cool as well. Let's make sure I keep my fuel tanks topped up this time. I don't think I've got such a big fuel tank. That's my problem. It's got such a big fuel tank, this system, that even the decent sized fuel skip takes a while for it to fill up. There we go. We'll jump across there. 13 jumps for Super Golden Knight. You can farm some materials over here. It's quite useful for that as well. I don't really go in for the old materials grind myself. I've done a few bits and pieces, but it's the lore. It's all about the lore. I need a bigger scoop. I don't know what I've got in that compartment. What have I actually got? I got 8A thrusters and 8A shield generator, just because. Yeah, so maybe I should have, because I don't think there's a 7 unit in there. So I think it then drops to a 6. So I've probably got a 6A. A 6A fuel scoop. Now, so Jameson, I've kind of already mentioned this. Now, basically, INRA's got the mycoid virus. The Thargoids are coming to get us. It's all desperate straits. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, we get one poor guy, an elite combateer. Okay, a man who clearly knows how to fly his ship, and we get him to take the missile. Okay. And basically tell him you are humanity's savior. All right, you are the guy who needs to deliver this missile against the Thargoids. And this guy basically asks, well, okay, so that's good. I'm in the war here. Up for fighting the Thargoids, as we all are. What does this missile do exactly? Well, it'll kill the Thargoid. Excellent. Actually, that's not what they tell him. What they tell him is that it'll disable their ships. It'll disable their ships. It's specifically targeted, this missile, to damage their hyperspace drives. Okay, and it will disable their ships, and then we can take them out in their kind of normal fashion. Okay, fantastic. You've got a super piece of high technology that's going to take out their hyperspace drive. Yes, we have. We just need you to deliver it to the Thargoid mothership. Okay, awesome. Will you take this mission, Commander? Yes, of course I'll take that mission. That sounds really, really good. I can deliver a killing blow against the Thargoid mothership, take out its hyperspace drives, and then you can pop it in and destroy them. Awesome. Okay, so Commander Jameson sets off in his ship, and with this mycoid missile. All right. Slung underneath his trusty Cobra Mark III. It's always a Cobra Mark III when anything important happens. Always bear that in mind, all right? Cobra Mark III, best spaceship in the game. No arguments, it just is. There's no fuelable stars. What's going on? I hope I don't run out of fuel again. I might have to be a bit careful. What's the next one? It's a red dwarf. Okay, I can refuel there, so I might spend a moment fueling up, if that's all right, everybody. And topping up the tanks on my extremely fuel inefficient cutter. That's another thing I don't like this ship for. It uses too much fuel. It's like a big Jaguar. very impressive, but entirely pointless. I didn't set my route into KGB foam. No, I should have done that as well. It's all rookie errors. You haven't been playing the game enough recently. That's the problem. Hey, there we go. It's a red dwarf. I'm good. I'm good. Let's just do a little bit of refueling around here and top up my tanks. Oh, it's not. How slow my fuel scoop is. That's 878, whatever it is per second. I don't know, meter. What did we talk about before? The Emperor is not pleased. Ah, well. Me and the Emperor. Oh, now I'm cooking my vessel. Let's just back away for a moment. Dear, oh dear. Massive, 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 massive empty fuel tank. Turning around again. Don't go too fast. Some of you will already be there now, though. Is it kilograms per second? Is it, Commander Terrakov? Okay, it's not. Where's the star gone? I'm so. The turning circle of this ship is so rubbish. If you miss the fuel scoop, you can't even do a 3-point turn in space. So I do like the way it looks, but everything else about it, and I do like the fact you can put. Look how far away from the star I am. It's just what a stupid spaceship. I so much prefer my crate for flying around in, I have to say. This one's quite good at making money. I'll give it that. But other than that, it's it's hard work. So I like my crate. Give me my crate any day. But I thought this poor old ship ought to have a bit of an outing tonight. But there we go. We can help you refuel. Oh, now I've just crashed into the star. It's all going wrong. That'll do. There's enough fuel in the tanks. Let's just get the hell out of here. Oh dear. I'm such a noob pilot. Well, I can't even get to the... Like I said, this tour is in the top 1% of all tours. I've got to wait for the FSD to cool down as well. It is amateur hour, yeah. I haven't been playing the game enough recently. This is my problem. I've forgotten how stuff works. And to be honest, a lot of it is this ship. I do not like this ship, alright? I should never have bought this ship. I spent an awful long time saving up for it and getting it because I liked the way it looked. It's one of those... This is buyer beware, okay? This is caveat emptor and buyer's remorse all kicking in here. So I spent an awful lot of time. This is what you get for insulting your ship. This is yeah, do not buy the cutter, basically. Yes, it's definitely the ship's fault. Bad workmen always blame their tools, don't they? Yeah, I know. It's entirely my fault. I'm not flying the ship appropriately. And now I've busted. I've got 98% thing. Never mind. We'll get there in the end. But it doesn't suit my style of flying around the universe. And I did, spend a lot of time kind of saving up the monies and doing the rank missions and all sorts of things. And got it. I thought, yay, I've got the Imperial cutter. Blimey, it's expensive to kit this thing out. That was the first thing I noticed. And then when I had kitted it out, and even I don't know, what have I got? I've got reasonable. I think I've got A-class everything, and I've engineered this, that, and the other, and it's still, I still don't like it. Why did I bring it? Well, I've got 4 ships, and there were 4 episodes of the tour. Okay, so I thought, one ship per episode kind of makes sense. So that was my thinking. It wasn't any more logical than that. So this is probably the last time the ship will actually go anywhere because it's good for mining, and it looks very, very. I love the way it looks, but it's an absolute. It's awful to fly, I think. It really is. So there we go. Mine has earned me. I mean, you can certainly earn a lot of money with the cutter. I will give it that. But I never really intended to go and get myself a fleet carrier. So Techeron is not happy now. But it's It's a beautiful machine. Let's say that it is a beautiful machine, and but it's too slow and sluggish for me. It's good in a straight line. I mean, it goes fast, but it can't corner worth a damn. So right, we're almost here anyway, so that's good. And its Super Cruise maneuverability isn't good either, actually. I like the smaller ships actually. I quite enjoy that sort of stuff. So yeah, the Cobra and maybe the Crate. Imps are never happy. No, what I was always disappointed. That's a rant for another stream, which I've done many times. Is I wanted the Imperial Courier from the second Elite games. Those of you who know that, it's got funky spinning nacelles and all sorts of stuff. It's an Imperial Mustang. Yeah, it's kind of like that, isn't it? So that's the Imperial ship I really wanted. But alas, it no longer exists in Elite Dangerous, which is a bit of a shame. The Imperial Courier in Frontier Elite 2 was an awesome vessel, and it no longer exists in the Elite Dangerous universe, which I think is a bit sad, but never mind. The Clipper I quite like. I'll be flying one of those next week for reasons which we will explain. But the Courier is a fun little ship as well, but it's a bit too small and its jump range isn't very good. So there we go. Right, now where am I heading? I need to remember where is it? Where do I need to go to? I've made a note of this. Somebody put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, please, for everybody else. Where is the Jameson crash site? It is. Let me just do my FSS for a start. That's always going to help. Yeah, Clipper is decent except for the hard points. 1B, there we go, thank you very much. Sidewinder 40 and Paphos UK. So head for planet 1B, which is that little dark place there. There we go. As you can see, the loads of fleet carriers here. These are probably not necessarily for the tour. Some of them might be, but if you have brought along a fleet carrier here, then thank you very much. But it's most likely that this is a bit of materials farming, which is a handy place to do it. Kind of a shame that it's become a materials farming place, but I understand that materials are hard to get, so it is important to get those kind of bits and pieces. So going back to the lore then, so Commander John Jameson, okay, J. Jameson, who is actually the son of your commander from the original game. So that's quite an interesting little connection there, and he's basically tasked with delivering this missile, which he's been told will disable the Thargoids hyperdrives, so the Navy's got a fighting chance to destroy them. Okay, which all seems perfectly reasonable. It's a state of war and blah 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 blah. So he's sent on this mission. He hyperspaces into this system, HIP 12099. Which is where the Thargoids have reached on their way to Earth, and there's a Thargoid mothership here. He launches his missile targets it, gets in close, launches it at the Thargoid mothership. The missile hits, and then and only then does he understand what the mycoid missile actually does. It doesn't disable their hyperdrives. What it does is it takes the organic components of Thargoid technology apart at the cellular level. All right, that does render the Thargoid's hyperdrive units useless. It destroys the hyperdrive units because it's biological. Okay, it also renders the Thargoid ships immobile because they're biological too. But it also renders the Thargoids themselves. It destroys them. Okay, it's not targeted at the Thargoid hyperdrives. It's targeted at the Thargoids. It's a bioweapon. It is a weapon of mass destruction, which has been targeted at the Thargoids deliberately. And you can read all about this down here on the planet if you go to Jameson's crash site and listen to the logs. Now, Jameson, the innocent party in all this, basically, oh my God, kind of has one of those, oh my God, what have I done moments? Because basically what he's done is he's not only infected the Thargoid mothership, but the Thargoids who are connected to that mothership, who've been in and out of it, spread that infection to many of the other Thargoids in the vicinity, and it wipes them out as well. So he's basically become the person who's delivered this bioweapon. and cause mass destruction of the aliens. And again, going back to the history, we fired on the Thargoids first, and not only have we angered them and fired on them and put them into a war, we have also now basically committed genocide on them as well. So things are all going well, and he basically realizes this. There's the Jameson crash site there, and wants to blow the whistle. The whistle. Wants to blow the whistle, not the missile, the whistle, on this, okay, and the whole INRA involvement, right? But the people who sent him on the mission have thought of this. They basically sabotage his ship, okay? They sabotage his ship, and as a result, lock his controls, okay, and set him on a crash course towards this moon, all right? And and he basically has a few final minutes to... How much brandy have I had tonight? Not enough, I think, is the answer to that one. He has a few final minutes to compose some messages to his family and his son, basically saying what happened and what he was involved in and what the truth of the story was, before his Cobra plummets down onto this planet and crashes. Okay, fire the whistle. And of course he does this hundreds of years ago, and nobody finds out about this until relatively recently, and the whole INRA thing gets exposed only a few years ago in the timeline of Elite Dangerous. So this is now a historic site, but the revelations about INRA and everything they were involved in have rumbled on into the Elite Dangerous lore into the present day. So the story of Salvation and Aegis and all that sort of stuff have their origins with INRA and Commander John Jameson. So we're going down to the surface of the planet just to pay a last homage to Commander John Jameson and his Cobra Mark III. Now, the Cobra Mark III that is on the surface here is an interesting one, because it's not the same as the Cobras we fly today. Which is correct. Okay, this is an earlier model Cobra Mark III, and it's more primitive looking. It's more blocky looking. It's more like the wireframe Cobras from the original game, which kind of is correct in the lore, which is really, really good. Jameson is Salvation. Who knows, right? Who knows? So presumably this happens right before you get your inheritance in Frontier Elite 2. So I'm not quite sure of the dates. I haven't checked those out, but it's going to be around that sort of time. Although the one in FE2 basically says that your grandfather was... so I think it's the guy in between. I think John Jameson is the middle one. And the inheritance you get is from the grandfather. I can't remember which way. I'm going to have to look it up. I've read it so many times I've forgotten it now. But it's the family line of the Jamesons that are involved here. So let's switch it on. So there we go. Hopefully some of you can see that. I can see a few people ahead of me down there. So let's rendezvous down on the surface of the Jameson crash site, and we'll use this as our hyperspace rendezvous point as well. And we can see how many people we can get into the instance as well, which will be really good. So head for the Jameson crash site, my friends. Let's use that as the rendezvous, because we're 25 minutes in to the end of the stream and we need to get that in. Yeah, so in FE2, the Thargoids have been defeated, presumed eradicated by this mycoid. They don't know why. So for the general population, of course, they don't know why the Thargoids suddenly retreated. But of course, what the Thargoids did is they had to retreat to avoid getting infected by this mycoid virus any further. So they basically backed off from humanity, and for many decades, and it wasn't until much later on that the events started going on. So there's been a few times when the Thargoids have backed off. So the mycoid stuff is actually conversant with a third game in the series, Frontier First Encounters, which is actually the story of those kind of things. But it's kind of been a little bit retconned for Elite Dangerous. To kind of fit in, so worth going and exploring yourself. Tanya Lawn will be in orbit in 10 minutes. Okay, actually, Wintermute, that might be a good place for us to rendezvous. So when the Tanya Lawn arrives, Big Move, isn't this the pilot from the end of FFE? Yeah, so let me get the detail. I think I'm getting confused actually all this time of talking about this. Yeah, so hang on, this is the pilot from the end of FE3, isn't it? So this is your character from that game. So yeah, so there is a line, yeah, somewhere I've written it down. There you can just see it on the floor there. So there's a crashed Cobra Mark III. So yeah, Big Boo, you're quite right. Here we go. Let's illuminate it with the searchlights. The lights are on. There we go. So there you can see a crashed Cobra Mark III, and Commander John Jameson, of course. Now the interesting thing here is that this crash doesn't look very survivable, but if you peer into the cockpit of this Cobra, it is empty. Okay, so has his body been recovered? Has he? Only know from your playthrough. Yeah, so I'm probably more accurate in my historical lore documents because there's so many details about these things. I can't always remember them now. But you can, there you go. You can see the crash. The ship is kind of ploughed into the ground. It's going to be careful here that I don't crunch anybody else's ship. But there we go, JJ386. But the cockpit is empty. There is no body in there. So is his body in some other part of the ship, or has something else happened? But there are quite subtle difference between this Cobra Mark III and the ones that we fly nowadays. This is a Cowler McGrath Cobra Mark III, not a Falcon de Lacy Cobra Mark III. Cowler McGrath were the original manufacturers of the Cobra Mark III, and this is and then they went out of business and were taken over by Falcon de Lacy. But this is a ship of that original vintage. So did he survive the crash? Now this is an airless moon, so could he have survived? Did somebody pick him up, or did somebody come down here and finish him off? We don't know. It's the structural integrity is remarkable. It survived the crash pretty well, actually, to be honest, isn't it? It's still in one piece, even though there's a curiously placed bunch of rubble there to kind of support it. So it almost looks like a faked crash site, doesn't it? But who knows what the actual real story was. So we pay our respects to Commander Jameson, a piece of lore from the original game. It is quite battered up at the back, actually. So there we go. So there he is. I'm just going to see if I can hover it there on my ship. Stay still. I can get an external camera in. There we go. Let's get the external camera. So if you're here, flash your lights, do your thing. Let's have a look at Commander Jameson's Cobra in close up. You can see some sort of scrape marks before it actually crashed into the ground there. I don't know what this looks like in Odyssey actually, whether it looks better or worse. But there you can see the Cobra is empty in the cockpit. Lots of scrape marks and everything. One noticeable difference here, I don't know if you've all spotted it, there's only a single forward gun. Okay, there's not two like there is on the modern Cobras. There's only a single one. That, of course, is correct in the lore. If you played the original game of Elite and the sequels, the ship only had one forward gun, not two. So again, little details like that. Whoever did this really, really knows. Knew a little bit about their Elite lore, which is really nice. It'd be nice to see more stuff like this, because this is very, very cool. So lots of history associated with JJ386, John Jameson and his crash Cobra. So and if we look around at the back, you can see subtle differences to the way the ship is constructed compared to the ones that we have today. Cobra Mark III, of course, is a hull design that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's a very, very cool ship indeed. So we pay homages to one of our commanders who has fallen. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour there. So yeah, as a result of all that, Commander John Jameson's story wasn't told until relatively recently. And obviously it's all come to light now. And then the Aegis and Salvation story follows on from that original lore. Now it is important for me to stress, for those of you who want to take the fight to the Thargoids, that we humans are still the aggressors. Okay, We are the ones who fired the first shot. We are the ones who committed genocide. And now we are obviously taking the fight to the Thargoids as well. They have been in space longer than us. They regard this whole part of space that we happen to live in, and we've only really been a spacefaring race for the last 1,000 years or so. We are the interlopers, and as a result, we've got to be, I would say, very careful how we approach the Thargoids. I'll leave it like that. Right, let us get up into space because we have to organise a hyperspace jump, my friends. So it's farewell to Commander John Jameson, Right on, Commander, and we will leave him to rest in peace as we head up. Now we're looking for the fleet carrier Tanilorn. I don't know if it has arrived yet. We will find out. And that's where we're going to attempt to rendezvous to pick up our mass hyperspace jump. Is there any lore about the current Jameson lineage? I don't think I've seen any. I don't think there is. I haven't come across what happened next. That's a very good question, actually. Is it here yet? I can't see it. Wintermute is 3 minutes out. So hang on, can we not see it arrive? Because that's always quite a cool thing to see. Does it not show up on the... Do I have to... There is Laurie Jameson, isn't there? I don't know if she's connected or not. Is there a way of refreshing this to pick up where the Tanilorn arrives? Exterior carriers. So maybe if I look on the system map, does it show up there? There are a lot of carriers here. This is a problem. Oh, where are you going, Wintermute? Because there are a lot of carriers about. Because normally it shows up as a thing. I'll DSS it. I forgot how to do that. Hang on. The scanner. Tanilorn. Oh, it's Tanilorn's there. Okay, I've got to enter Super Cruise. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's do that. Of course. The Tanilorn has arrived. We've missed it. Has arrived. Anyway, okay, so head for the Tanilorn, my friends. Head for the Tanilorn. Right, Hopper can't get back into the game. No! Okay, it's got to be in... There we go, Super Cruise. Right, okay. It's a shame that doesn't update. There it is. So head for the Tanilorn, my friends. Named after a Michael Moorcock novel. So very good sci-fi reference. Well, fantasy sci-fi? Michael Moorcock's one of those guys who straddles the line a bit. Let's see if we can get there. And then we might arrive in time to see it arrive. Let's see how it goes. It isn't very far away, actually, is it? Apart from I'm stuck in the gravity well of this planet. Let's see if I can get there in 2 minutes. So head for the Tanilorn in this system, HIP 12099. I think I've got that right. And we'll start winging up for preparation for a hyperspace jump. It might be a little bit delayed tonight because we're a little bit behind schedule, but that's okay. That's okay. Now, for those of you who are hoping to join for last week's, for those of you who'd like to turn up to last week's show, jump in your time machine. Yeah, that's not the way. Those of you wanting to join for the final episode of the O7 tour, which is next week, next Thursday, we will be in the 46 Eridani system. Okay, now you may be wondering, why are we going to the 46 Eridani system? We are going to retrace the steps of one of the characters that I put into Elite Dangerous, the infamous Salome. We are going to retrace her final flight through space. Okay, so we're going to start in the system that she started in, 46 Eridani. And we are going to follow the route that she took through space to the point where she finally fell and was shot down. Here we go. Let's get the external view because this is very cool. Look at that, just timed that perfectly. Out comes the Tanilorn. Yes, look at that. That's so cool. Well, let me get it on the screen. Boom, boom, boom. With the lighting, everything. That's a different type of hyperspace technology. Is Commander Harry Potter going to join us? I don't know, actually. I can't stop him, probably, per se. I don't know if does he even still play the game. We actually parted on good terms, actually, me and Harry Potter. In fact, the entire crew that was involved with Salome, in fact, I mean, there was, obviously much angst in the time, but and we'll talk about that, during next week's stream. But we had a kind of, not quite a reunion, but a kind of a retrospective on it several years after the event. And there was a civilized conversation between all parties, which was fun to see. So it's a piece of elite lore, which is long gone now. It's going to be 5 years ago, April this year. So it's 4.5 years ago now that event took place. It's a long time ago in the history of Elite. But as a result, it is it's still infamous, I suppose, in the Elite Dangerous lore. So we are going to retrace Salome's steps and talk a little bit about what happened there and what it was all about, to finish up the 07 tour. Now, I'm very privileged to have along with me, as wingman on that trip, the 3 pilots who accompanied Salome on that original trip. I've managed to get the old band together, as it were. Some of them have come out of retirement especially for the 07 tour, so they've actually basically downloaded Elite Dangerous again, reinstalled it and set themselves up so they can join me in the game and retrace that quite epic voyage that hopefully everyone has at least heard of. And we're going to retrace the steps as closely as we can with the original pilots as well. So that's what we're planning to do. Anyway, thank you very much, Wintermute GB, for bringing the Tanny Lawn. So let us begin with our quest of doing the instancing jig. And obviously we will be recording everything for those of you who can't be here in person. So I hope you can, but if you can't, it's obviously not a problem. So I'm just going to bank around. Let's form up on the front of the Tanny Lawn. And then we can use that to get some nice screenies at the same time. So there we go. And there's planets and all sorts of stuff going on here. So I'm just going to form up at the front here. Now, if you are in my wing and you can see me, then you're obviously already here. So that looks like that's working quite well. So again, the trick here, my friends, is please see if you can wing up in wings of 3 people. Okay, so you have a spare slot. And then what I can do is, if you can confirm to me that you're in a wing of 3, I can send you an invite. Or sorry, you can invite me into your wing, and then you can use that to log in, if that makes sense. And if anybody is in the instance already, can see my ship, then please make this, please get yourself invited to other wings so we can kind of bring it in, so that we have the more things as possible. So Cyberdime and the others are just dropping out of my wing, which is excellent. So if you can form up wings of 3 wherever you are, and then invite me in, then that will thing. Am I in open? No, I am in a private group, Drew Wagar's private group. That's where I am. Nuachi is wing of 3 formed. Okay, so if you can invite, I think the way it works, if I'm correct, is you have to invite me, Nuachi. So can you invite, for those of you who've got a wing of 3, invite me in, and then that should allow Commander Terraformer. Glenn, excellent. Let's see if we can get you in, because I know you're in the States. But please try and, wherever possible, try and form a wing of 3, so we can get as many people in one go. So, Glenn, if you can jump in quickly, then you can get in there. Russian Man, if anybody is in my instance already and can see my ship, please announce in the chat that you are available to be invited into a wing. That will allow other people to get in. Okay, so please dump it into the chat. If you have a wing of 3 already, please dump it into the chat. And if anybody is in my instance and can see me, also put that into the chat so that you can be invited into those wings, and then they should join this instance, if that makes sense. Hopefully that's clear. So please do that as much as you can, so we can get as many in. So Dr. Abe 42 also has, Lancel has a wing available. So if you've got a wing of 3, ask Commander Lancel for a wing invite, get them into thing, and then jump out into Supercruise and back in, and hopefully you'll appear in here. So I'm just waiting for Glenn to arrive in my instance, and then I can do that as well. So keep doing that as often as possible. Okay, here is Glenn. Glenn has now arrived in my instance. Excellent, that's good news. I think we've never met in space before. This is quite cool. Commander Sufiandal is in Dru's instance. You can invite me. So right, so Glenn is here. That's excellent news. I'm going to drop that wing, and then I will get okay, Glenn's already dropped out. That's brilliant. Right, I am free, so SP4H, I'll see if I can get you in. Aussie G has a wing of 4. Actually, I know Aussie G as well. Where are you, Aussie G? So invite, have I got wing invites? Who have I got wing invites from? Where's it gone? This UI is awful. Where's the wing? Right, Aussie is there. Right, I know Aussie. Okay, so there we go. Right, Kamakichi, Aussie and Alexix, you should be able to now jump into my instance. I can see I can see I'm guessing that's Commander Terra Firma there. I'll flash my lights to him. There we go, sitting in space in front of me. So just keep doing that, guys. Okay, just keep doing it. Once you've got into my instance, advertise for other people to invite you in, and we'll see how many people we can get into the instance. Andy Pipkin, what will happen to the Alessia Verda character, by the way? Okay, so her name is potentially up for other people to use. I'm probably going to reset that account per se, because actually it is actually my lifetime expansion pass account. So that's what that account's actually going to be used for. So for me, it won't continue as Alessia Verdi, but if somebody else would like to take the adventures of Alessia Verdi, do get in contact with me on my Discord, and we can approve you as the de facto Alessia Verdi and carry that in. So we're getting a few more ships turning up here. So the instance is filling up. This is good. Dru, will your private group survive after you've gone? So yes, I will keep my Elite Dangerous account active. I may even log into it every so often just to play the game randomly, but I'm not going to partake in anything kind of significant anymore. So that's interesting. Aussie has not appeared. Try it again. Jump out and jump back as best you can. So my private group will survive. I'm not going to delete my the PG. So if you still want to use it for kind of safe non-PvP kind of activity, that's basically what it's for. It will survive. I'm not going to delete my commander from the game, though I might reset some of my other accounts if that makes sense. But it will survive. So you can, for those of you who like playing in this group and have made lots of friends in here, it will continue, and I may even drop into the game every so often just to check things out and play things, but I'm not going to be doing it regularly so much. Okay, so Aussie and Alexis, Kemakichi, did you manage to get in? Is a question. So that's a good thing. How are we doing? I can't see that. There's quite a few ships here. Let's just have a look outside the back. There's quite a few building up. There we go. They are growing. We'll take a bit of time here because we're a little bit late. There's quite a few ships already getting into play, which is nice. So we need as many ships as possible to kind of get in here and see how good the instancing can be. So Aussie's struggling to get in, even though we're in the wing. It's still not working, which is annoying. Kamakichi got orange sidewinded. Instancing. Try one more time, Aussie. See if you can get in. So could I put my wing beacon on? Has it switched off again? I thought I'd sorted that. Let me sort that out again. Is it up the top here, isn't it? No, my wing beacon is on, according to that. So I can't switch it on because according to the game it is on. The port forward, now I've done all my port forwarding, so it's supposed to be working. I have done all that. My router's set up to cope with that. So sometimes it's working, sometimes it isn't, which is just so annoying. And the orange sidewinders are back. I only see Commander Lexi. Right, so I don't want to take too long, which is a shame. I'm going to try somebody else. So apologies, Aussie and Lexi. Try it one more time. See if you can get in. Let's see if it does work. Dr. Abe has ended up in an empty instance, and the problem's the server side. It's always the way with this stuff. Sometimes we get a really, really good result. Sometimes we don't. There are quite a few commanders here, but not as many as we normally see, actually. which is a shame. Urban Sparks is a wing. Okay, I'm going to drop this wing. Apologies for those who are struggling to get in. Let's just leave the wing, and then I will join. Urban Sparks has a wing of 3. So Urban Sparks, send me a wing invite, and I'll see if I can pick it up. And if other people are in the wing, please offer your services as people who are in the right instance as wing invite targets, if that makes sense. Dump your name in the chat if you can. Right, I'm almost out of the wing. Am I going to get the leaving wing bug? I'm not today. That's good. Okay, so right, where's my wing invite list? There are loads of them. Who was recently? Golden Knight is here. Let's go for that one. Right. Okay, so we have Russian Man, Alex Rider, and Golden Knight. Hopefully on their way in as well. I can see some wing signals here at least, which is good. So again, keep offering. If you're in my instance, please offer your commander name as an invitable person, if that makes sense. And we'll keep going it. So okay, so Golden Knight, Alex Rider, and Russian Man 19 hopefully are on their way in. I can see some movement there, which is encouraging. Keep doing that, okay? Just keep doing that, my friends. Falconer is in the invite. Is in the instance. So please invite him. If you've got a wing of 3 that's waiting, invite Commander Falconer in. Hopefully he'll be able to pull you into the instance along with other people. That would be really, really good. So just let's keep trying to do that, because we want our hyperspace jumps to be as epic as we can possibly make them. I'm seeing people coming in as well. I can see some wing signals, but I can't see the wings arriving in the instance yet. We're working on it. Let's see how well the instance works. There are quite a lot of ships in the instance. So I hope Lancel says you already a wing. Yeah. If you're in my instance, you don't need to be in a wing at all. Okay. So again, if you're in my instance and you're watching this on the stream, please type your commander name into the chat so we can get as many people into the instance as possible. Because we're running out of time. We've got a few extra minutes because we were late starting. Thomas, we could organise 3-man groups in advance. The trick is it's difficult to know who's going to turn up, who's going to be here. So if we're, I know there's a mission that's recently gone, isn't there, which has worked really, really well. And I think they managed to get 50 or 60 ships in. When are we jumping there? We'll go at about 10 past. I think we'll go about 10 past 10 for the jump. So we've got about 10 minutes. There we go. Looks like Golden Knight. No, Russian Man has arrived. Excellent. Russian Man, you should be able to drop the wing once you're here. You can confirm you are definitely in the instance, which is excellent. And where are we jumping? Well, I'm going to go and work that out actually. So keep doing the whole wing thing while I'm gone. I'm just going to see if I can work out where we're going to jump to. Now we're not too far away. Let's see. I don't know which direction we're oriented actually. Let's have a quick look. What's in front of me? The Milky Way is there. Difficult to say. Let's see where the galaxy map. If I plot a course to, let's say, there, where does that point us to? That points us up. Okay, so I need to be pointing down a bit, because it's nice to fly away. Not that it matters too much, but it's nice just to get the orientation. Quite good. So I'm going to try that star there, straight down from our location, and that gives us a star. That's nice. Okay. There we go. I'm going to orientate my ship over to that direction there. That's where we're going to try to. So I'm just going to type that into the chat so everybody knows it. We are in, we're going to Hyperspace 2, Arietis, Sector, JHV, B2-0. That's where we're going to go. Alex Rider and Golden Knight, how are you doing? Have you managed to get into the instance or not? Again, if you're in my instance, please offer your username up to be an invite target. ED crashed. No. So annoying when it does that. But that's the hyperspace target, my friends. We'll be charging hyperspace drives in a minute to head in that sort of direction. So we got another 5, 6, 7 minutes now. Odyssey now is a copy system name function. Okay, that's quite handy to have. I can still see some people, the wings trying to come in, but they haven't arrived yet. Russian man did manage to get in. Super God Knight is closing. Okay, invite wing please, says, but I can't do it yet because I'm trying to get these other guys in. But if anybody, again, if you're in my instance and you can offer yourselves an invite target, please do. The target for the jump is Arietis sector JH-V B2-0. You can see it on the screen, hopefully. System isn't cooperating, but I just got in. Hey, excellent. Okay, so a few people have managed to get there. Aussie G, it's completely failed for me today. Keep jumping in there, even completely quit the game. Just can't even get into Dru's instance. It's so annoying when that doesn't work in. Trying multiple times, it's not working. Okay, I'm going to give somebody else a chance then. This is the only problem. This is so sporadic. I'll choose somebody randomly from the list. I'm in a parallel dimension. That's the only problem. Dru, I think you need to do a tutorial on how you are doing this. It's not immediately self-obvious, is it? Unfortunately, but and it takes a long time. I mean, sometimes it can take hours to assemble a really good set of wings. It is a tricky thing. Okay, so Buddy Acola was on my list. Let's see if there's a wing invite from John Baker's here. Oh, I know John Baker. Let's come on, John. Okay, right. I've got John Baker, Ares Dragon, and Hox Lightyear in here. So go, guys. See if you can get into the instance. Russian man is in the instance. If you want to invite Russian man into your wing, he should be able to lead you into the instance as well. Give that a try and see how that goes for you. Disable the voice comms so it doesn't screw up. So John Baker, Ares Dragon, and Hox Lightyear, see if you can jump into the instance as well. I'm just going to go for an external shot, see how we are doing. How is it looking? There's Anacondas here. Is that a beluga liner as well? Nice bunch of ships. Cobras, crates, asps, more crates, loads of crates in fact. What's that at the back there? Is that a... Oh, what's that little ship called? I forgot its name. Brain. Apparently Russian man is unreachable. It's just the instancing is so annoying. We have more ships over here as well. Now the Python. I haven't seen the Python for a while. Nice to see a few different ships about. Asps, crates. Excellent. All sorts of good stuff going on. Nice stuff. So we'll organise in a little minute and get bits and pieces. Right, we have I don't know if John or Hox has managed to jump in. I can see wing beacons and things showing up on there, but it's a DBX. Of course, it's a DBX. What am I talking about? I'm trying to get in because you need some sort of corvettes. Mad Monk Sucks has given up. It's very difficult to get into the instance, unfortunately. Sometimes it doesn't always play ball. Mintopia's tried multiple times but didn't let me in, so hitching a ride on the Tandem for next week's tour. Not a problem for trying, guys. Thank you very much for all the efforts. Right, so we are now going to start moving forward. So those of you who are in my instance, proceed towards the hyperspace target, Arietta sector JHVB2-0, as at 100 meters per second. All right, so we're going to proceed away because we need to get away from the Tandilorn in order to do the jump, because that will have us mass locked. So I'm just going to roll forward. If everybody else can drop into formation with me at 100 meters per second, we're going to organize it like that. Roll it back a little bit. There we go. Can't quite get to 100 meters per second in this ship. It's either one or the other. Oh no, I've done it. There we go, 100 meters per second. We are in the wing, but we're not getting anyone in the instance. It's difficult sometimes. It's really annoying. Right, so form up on my rear quarter, if you can. Why does my ship just slow down there? Don't do that. There we go. Okay, so form up on my wing as as it were, my friends. We'll get as many ships in here as we can. There we go. We've got a whole bunch of ships flying about. So apologies if you're struggling to get into the instance. Sometimes we luck out on this a little bit. Sometimes it works really, really well. It's not been quite so successful this evening as we as we've had in the past, but it's still a good collection of ships, which is always nice to see. And don't don't hit the planet. No, we won't hit the planet. There's a few ships still getting about at very, very high speeds. So we're on our way. I don't see John either. Mad Monksoft, what's your username? I'll see if I can get you in. I'll drop the wing from John. John, yes, that's odd. That's not working as well. So have I got Mad Monksoft on my list? Is he here? So many people. It would be nice if we could get into. I can't even see you on the list, I'm afraid. Rasputin Man. Right, hang on a minute. Let's try. I'll see if I can invite you directly. There we are. Accept the wing invite. Is that? Oh, hang on. I didn't quite leave the wing. Right, there we go. Rasputin Man and Biggles. You've got a few minutes. See what you can do. Okay, you're in the wing. See if you can get in quick, because we're running out of time. I'll give you a few minutes to see if you can make one last attempt to jump into the ring. Right, Biggles, Lucky Louise, and Rasputin Man, come on in as best you can. We'll see how we can do. Disable voice comms. Right. Okay, so the key thing here, my friends, as we're just preparing to do this, is that you must charge your hyperspace drive. Okay, charge your hyperspace drive, but do not throttle up. It's very important. Do not throttle up. Okay, so charge your hyperspace drive, but do not go to full throttle. You get the warning on the dash saying, you must throttle up, but don't throttle up. Okay, don't throttle up. The target system again is Arietis. I'll type it into the chat. Arietis sector JHV B2-0. Okay, that's where we're heading. Peer-to-peer design is a nuisance. It is indeed. Right, Biggles, Lucky Louise are still inbound. Mad Monksoft, did you get in? Did you get? I don't know. You've dropped off my display now. Did you get in? Let's hope you did. Right. How are we doing for time? Okay, we're beginning to run out of time, my friends. I'm going to have to call shots on this in a minute. So fingers crossed. You're in there. Not many instances for me, but I'm going to jump with who I can see anyway. That's the way to do it. So if you're in an instance with a few other players, just do it with us. Okay, just do it with us. That would be quite good. AMD TJ1. Okay, so last jump attempt, last winging attempt. Let's see if I can get you in. I can't even see you on the list. Or can I? AMD. I can't see an AMD on my list, I'm afraid. Which is annoying. Nope, I can't see you, I'm afraid. Which is. It's just the instancing. It's just annoying. My wing beacon is definitely on. I've confirmed that in there. So yes, that is definitely there. Right, it is time now. Okay, it's time to do the jump. Yeah, we're out of time. So on your HUD, you will see it's currently on my clock. It's 22:10. Okay, in 26 seconds. I want you to charge your hyperspace drive now. Okay, my friends. So charge your hyperspace drive, but do not throttle up. Okay. Do not throttle up. What I want you to do at 22:15 precisely on your HUD, okay, on your game clock, that's when I want you to go to full throttle. Okay, do not go to full throttle until 22:15. That's when we are going to actually do the actual jump. So basically sit there with your hyperspace drive charged, traveling at 100 clicks in formation with whoever you're in formation with, hopefully me, but if you're not, somewhere else. 22:15 is when we are going to actually throttle up. So punch your throttle, punch it Chewy, at 22:15 precisely. Okay, that's when we're actually going to do it. So everything should be charged and ready to go, and then we'll count down from there. If somebody could type the If somebody could actually, it's the planet. Oh, it is, isn't it? The planet is moving. I wonder if it's going to occult the star. I've just been noticing that. Is it going to cut it off? Tell you what. Have we got 4 minutes? We'll find out. I'll keep an eye on it. That's a good point, actually. But if we just, I've never had that problem before, actually. Tell you what, I'm going to discharge the hyper. We may need to pick another target. Apologies for this. This is because we don't want to mess up the jump. Is it going to be enough? Let's go with it. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we'll find another target. I haven't got 4 minutes. Okay, let's choose another star then. Nightmare. Right, cancel that. I've just discharged. Right, we're going to have to choose another star, my friends. Gas giant issues. Getting in. There's a gas giant, basically. It's interrupting my stream. Can you believe it? That's outrageous. Let's go the star next door. Sorry about this. Right. Haven't had this problem before. Oh, that one's blocked. It's going so well. It's going. There aren't too many stars around here. This is the other slight problem. Let's try that one. That's kind of in a similar line. Is that one visible? Right. Okay. We're going to have to turn slowly to the right. This one isn't blocked. This one isn't blocked. So I'm doing a slow turn again. So form up on me. Right. I'll type it into the chat. We're changing the jump. Okay. It's now Arietta sector. It's the same bit at the beginning. Right. BQ-Y C6. Okay, that's now where we're going to jump to. So lock your targeting computers on that. Original target is now occluded. Look at that. The bastard actual gas giant has photobombed my hyperspace jump. Unbelievable. Right, we're going to reset that. Okay, so let's give a few moments for everybody to get the hang on that. We'll go for what we'll go for. Let's go for 2217. Okay. So charge hyperspace. Throttle. I'll type it into the chat. Throttle up at 2217. Okay. Precisely. All right. Charge hyperspace. Throttle up at 2217. That's what we're going to go for. All right. Everyone clear now? We'll give this a try. That's about 2.5 minutes now. All right. So let me go for the external view. Let's watch the fleet. Okay, so here go the ships. Right. Hopefully everybody's got that. Asp in front of things is for you. Now it's gas giants in front of things. That's exactly where we are. So let's get the fleet. I'm going to back off as far as I can so we get as many ships in here as possible. So close up as close as you can to the ships around you. Obviously don't whack them. And we'll get going. Now it's we're out here for the lore, we're out here for the adventure. So let's get some music that's appropriate to our adventures. Okay, throttle up at 2217, my friends. Are you ready? Here we go. Finally, after all this, it's time for some adventure. There we go. Initiate mini drive, exactly right. Remember, 2217 is when you throttle up. Look at the HUD on your dashboard. Closing on target, my friends. Here they go. Royal Commanders. Bum, 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 bum. Well done, everybody. That was actually, in the end, quite well executed jump, even with the music. Dear. That was good fun, good fun. Yeah, so slightly dodgy MIDI composition. That's actually surprisingly hard piece of music to MIDI, actually. So there we go. I'm now all alone in the midst of all those hyperspace trails. Well done, everybody, for getting that together. Thank you for the gas giant for getting in the way. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of the ancient lore of Elite Dangerous into the bargain as well. Next week is 46 Iridani. You may want to take a fleet carrier, jump on a fleet carrier that's going out there, so see who is going out there. 46 Iridani is about 1,000 light years away, so we're going to be doing quite a lot of jumping next week for the final part of the tour. And as a result, we will be retracing Salome's final journey with the original escort crew that flew with her on that fateful night in April 2017, or 3302 as it's obviously known. Thank you very much for your company tonight. Apologies for those who couldn't get into the instance for all the various different technical challenges that the instancing provides. But obviously we try and do our best to accommodate. So we'll try another one again to finish off with for next week. So please, again, thank you very much for your company tonight. Very much appreciated by me. Hopefully you'll be able to join me for the final send-off episode of the 07 tour next week, where I'm going to be hanging up, alas, my Elite Dangerous hat for and moving on to different things. But it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you on the 07 tours thus far. We have one more episode to go, and I'm looking forward to having the pleasure of your company there as well. So fingers crossed. Have a fantastic week ahead, Commanders. Get through Friday, get to the weekend, and have a good time. And I think that's a fleet carrier off now. By the sound of it, making a kind of groany noise in the background. I will not be here on Saturday, I'm afraid, because I've got to take my son to a university tour, so there won't be a retro stream on Saturday. We'll be back on Monday, of course, and I will be back next Thursday for the final part of the 07 tour. So 07 Commanders, right on. Thank you very much, and fly safe. Of course, if you can't fly safe, fly dangerous. Right on, Commanders. See you soon.